When this question raised inside me for the first time, I was unable to answer. Why are we going to school? I was first put in school when I was 4 years old, with that poised body full of energy, having no goals or dreams of my own, knowing nothing, yet filled with happiness. But where did my happiness go? Each and every single day, every single morning, I woke up and I was made to go to school unwillingly, but later on it became used to me. I was taught with alphabets and numbers, then poems and algorithms. Then when I grew up, it was like essays and theories. But I didn't really know why I was taught these things. No one asked me what I love to do, but they always taught me what the books told them. The saddest part is, most of the students didn't even ask this question to themselves. No one knew the answer either. What is school meant for? Do you mean to tell me that it's for education that we go to school? Then it means it's a foolish answer, because the word education came from the Latin root educe, which means to bring out. I don't really think that the schools have brought anything out from the students, but instead schools have brought in and stuffed the students with certain facts and principles which were written in those books. School told me that adjective describes noun, but I didn't really know how to describe myself. They taught me that mitochondria was the powerhouse of the cell, but I was unaware of what every single cell of my body was striving for. They taught me that Columbus discovered America, but I didn't know how to discover the infinite inner potential which was deep inside my heart. Little children who had the ability to become the greatest singer, author, #1 athlete of the world, every single person were all forced to learn algebra and animal kingdom. Does that make any sense? Can we call it education? Schools have become like test centers which measure the ability of the students by the marks they score in certain subjects irrespective of the child's interest. How can a fish be judged by its ability to run? How can a dog be judged by its ability to fly? Our poor education system judges a child who is ought to become a magician by his marks scored in mathematics. And the poorest of all, the child thinks that he is fit for nothing. The Indian education system treats people with different economies and different standards. What is this? Teaching inequality to the little children in the small age, and we call it education? National Institute of Transforming India, the Niti Aayog, reported that India has 3 to 4 times the number of schools present in China despite a similar population. Number of schools, great quantity, but where is the quality? There is a great difference between the private and public sector schools in India. And it also reported that nearly 4 lakh Indian public schools have a population of less than 50 students and a maximum of 2 teachers. In some of the places in rural India, the student to teacher ratio is as worse as 1 teacher to 100 plus students. How can the students be properly guided if in this case? Career guidance classes and motivational sessions should be conducted to discover the child's inner potential and to help him identify the path in which he has to travel all through his lives. Students should be taught moral values. They should be taught how to handle stress and defend the difficulties of life. How many of us have tried to hide ourselves to escape from being called upon by teacher for an answer? Here the school is teaching us how to hide ourselves from the challenges of life. Ladies and gentlemen, just close your eyes and imagine a child is sitting at the back of some teacher's classroom. He never raises his hands, he never answers for the question, he often fails, but inside of him there is a passion, and if nurtured and brought out, it would lead him to discover the cure for cancer. But I am afraid that the child's potential will be never ever brought out. The child won't receive the Nobel Prize just because he was judged by his marks. Do you think that metaphors and Pythagoras' theorem are more important than self-care? A Harvard study suggested that suicide is the 3rd biggest cause of people dying from the age of 10 to 24. It also said that the biggest predictor for success is self-care and emotional health. Then why aren't the schools not teaching how to handle stress, bullies, rejection and failure? If marks were in the method by which students' abilities were measured in schools, then the letter F would not have stood for failure. F would have been for fight for success. Do you own a MacBook or iPhone? Are you watching this video on Facebook or YouTube? Do you know that all of these were created by dropouts? Open your history books and check out the very people we idolized in school didn't even have primary or secondary schooling. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, America's biggest presidents, had 0 schooling. I didn't mean to say you that dropouts become successful. I mean to say that these people learned something that is more precious that the current schooling doesn't teach us. Not every school. Some schools are great, some teachers are awesome, they teach values. What I mean to say is, there is a difference between people who are smart and people who score better. Your future is something that no test can ever measure. So, principals, teachers, advisors, mentors, and students, I ask you one more time, why are we going to school?